All right, so we're back here with Alicia from Ultra Wisdom, and we're going to be answering obviously a couple more questions. And the next one that we have is, how will I pay for my rent or my mortgage if all of this is happening?
Okay, perfect. So, or an owner of a house, this is your biggest expense likely. So the first thing is again, like I said in the last video, is we're hearing a lot about rent and mortgage payments in the news and things like deferrals. And the biggest mistake you could make is assuming that you just don't have to pay, because that's not true. You do have to pay. There are a lot of tools coming out for people to help them out. So we'll start with rent because it's a simpler one. The best way to start this is to actually speak directly with your landlords and say, look, this is how I've been affected, either because your income has gone down due to work or whatever, and understanding that your landlord also has a mortgage payment to make that they can't really fund on their own either. The best thing is to try and find a way for you to reduce your rent without completely eliminating it. So the ideal situation would be you go to your landlord and you say, my income used to be here and now it's here at a lower level. I'm applying for these benefits. Not all of them have come through yet, and our last video will tell you about that. And this is what I can afford to pay for now, and this is how I plan to make it up in the future. And then that will make you most likely to have a landlord saying, okay, we're willing to give you this time in the interim. There's also some provinces, so I know Ontario has said it for sure, that they've paused evictions completely, which means that even if you couldn't pay, you can't be kicked out, and that's nice. Not all provinces have done that so far, so I wouldn't rely on that. And I think the best way is to just be responsible, because the thing is, as soon as COVID-19, the crisis is finished, you don't want to be kicked out of your apartment the next day. So it's best to just to kind of be ahead of the game and be very honest and forthcoming.
Especially because you said something that's very critical. We don't know how long this is going to last. And it could be 1 month, it could be 2 months, or it could be 3, who knows, right? So it is really important. I like the part that you're saying, like, negotiate, because maybe right now you've produced maybe up to now a certain amount for your monthly bills, and you can now split that, right? So you're still paying something. So that's good. Yeah. Okay, perfect.
Exactly. And the other thing would be, this is a specific job jar tip, but I just was thinking about it, is because you all are so skilled in home stuff, there could be ways that you can actually trade in some services for your landlord in place of rent. I know that would be something that some landlords would be interested in, and they could have time right now, and that could help bridge the gap so they feel like they're getting some value when you just don't have the cash to pay rent.
Oh, that's such a good idea. See, love it. Okay, and how would mortgages? What if we have a mortgage?
So if you're paying a mortgage, again, we've heard a lot about how there's this thing called a 6-month deferral. That doesn't mean you just don't have to pay your mortgage for 6 months. You will foreclose if you do that. What it actually means is you have to contact your mortgage company. And a deferral doesn't mean a cancellation of the payment. What it actually usually means is they take your payments that you would be making over the coming months, and they'll add it back to the entire amount that you've borrowed, and they'll recalculate your mortgage based on that. So your interest rate will change and your payments will change. And there's 2 things to be careful for in this system. So one is that the new payments that you're agreeing to are something that is reasonable for you to pay. So if it becomes way more expensive and you can't actually service it, or you don't know how and when you're going to be making the money, then it's not a great option for you. And number 2, just be aware that over the long term, taking this option does mean you are paying more for your house, because you're going to be paying more interest because you're borrowing for longer, right? And kind of helping you out in the short term. So it's great if you don't have cash right now. It's a good option for people, but it is not like a free lunch. So we like to remind people of that. And I think the other thing is, many companies have said that they are willing to do other measures as well, and they're open to lots of ideas, and they have lots of suggestions. So deferral is not the only thing, but you just will have to pay. You'll have to call your mortgage company, and right now I've heard wait times are about 3 to 4 hours. So,
and I was just gonna say, probably give it maybe even a day or 2 while they figure it out as well, right? Mm-hmm. Because it's not only a handful of people, it's everybody's going to probably want to look at this as an option. I have a question for you on the deferral. So when it recalculates your payments, can you set that for a specific amount of time? So say, like is it up to 6 months, or can you do less?
So from what I understand, and it'll depend on each mortgage company what they're willing to do, but from what I understand, they're willing to go up to 6 months.
Okay.
So historically, this has always actually been an option, and sometimes people call it a mortgage vacation or a mortgage break as well. But what this is usually available for is a maximum of 4 months. And they're just extending it to 6 months. So I think you can pick and choose how many months you want to do, but I do believe the recalculation happens. So I don't think it's a flexible option that continues. So it would be best to understand your financial position at that time to know what you think you'll be able to pay. I know it's difficult right now because people don't know.
Yeah.
But
okay. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much. Okay, we'll be back with our next question.
Great.